Always, folks, you're just going to have to listen to the whole show to get all the
We
interviews.
got tons of stuff.
So should we really have to tell you that we got great interviews coming up every day? I don't think we should have to do that. You know we're going to have interesting people and stories this whole hour and a half here on this show. So wanted to talk to you, Fred, about a good news story that took place late last week. Folks can always use good news. Why don't you tell us about it?
Well, Hobby Lobby and more than 30 other businesses have been fighting the so-called contraceptive mandate under Obamacare. Basically, that mandate, we've talked about it so many times, but in case you're not aware of it, that mandate says that companies, religious or not, and even religious nonprofit organizations must provide contraceptive coverage for their employees. Now, Hobby Lobby, being a Christian-run company, the Green family, have said, we're a private company. We run our business according to Christian principles. We do not believe, for example, that we should have to provide our employees with the morning after pill. They have been fighting this battle in the court. And they went back to court last week. And why that is so important, that effective today, under this contraceptive mandate, July 1st, Hobby Lobby, if they did not provide this coverage, was facing fines of up to $1.3 million per day. Well, last Thursday, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals said, you know what? Hobby Lobby has an argument there that should be heard. And so they put on hold these fines, which were supposed to start today. We were talking just before the program, Tim and Ed, and we were saying it was interesting. One of the judges, 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, had this to say. He said, sincerely religious persons could find a connection between the exercise of religion and the pursuit of profit. They said, would an incorporated kosher butcher really have no claim to challenge a regulation mandating non-kosher butchering practices? So there you have it. They recognize that perhaps, even though a company is run by Christians, maybe they have a right to run their company according to Christian principles, and that the government doesn't have the right to come in and say, you can't do that. And so at least until the 19th of this month, there was another federal district judge on Friday in Oklahoma City has set a hearing date of July 19th so that Hobby Lobby can go back to court and argue this case once again.
Well, this is a great temporary victory for Hobby Lobby. Now, Hobby Lobby has said that they would not obviously be able to stay in business if they did not get some judicial relief from this kind of requirement under Obamacare. Not only because it's $1 million plus, fines a day, but because of their strong belief that they should not be required to, provide abortifacients, through their health care plan for workers. So this is a great temporary victory. We'll have to wait and see how it's terrible that we're to this place where the fate of Hobby Lobby is in the hands of federal judges. But that's where we're at.
Again, folks, this was the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver. There are, I don't know how many Circuit Court of Appeals. Is this a federal appellate court? Is that what this is?
Yes, the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals would be
so the next level is the Supreme Court.
Right,
Yes,
that's right.
So from the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals, which I guess governs Oklahoma, or governs may not be the right word, I don't know. But
its jurisdiction
includes Oklahoma, which is where Hobby Lobby is based out of, Tulsa. But the Hobby Lobby has said, they've told Hobby Lobby they don't have to pay these fines. They don't have to comply.
That's right. And a district judge confirmed that on Friday and now has set a hearing date of the 19th to rehear
Folks,
Hobby Lobby's argument.
I got to vent just a minute. This is where this is electing a guy like President Obama. This is what this has led to. I want you to think about it for just a moment, especially those of you who voted for President Obama. The first time, certainly the second time, this guy is for going after a company like Hobby Lobby because they don't want to provide abortion for their employees. And so President Obama and his team says, you go after those guys, $1.3 million a day if we have to, but we're going to make them pay for abortions because this is the kind of country we want. That's what President Obama is for. And elections have consequences, and people warned that this kind of thing would happen when he was elected, and sure enough, American people said, "Yes, give me that guy." Well, this guy wants to go after good companies like Hobby Lobby and put them out of business if they won't pay for abortions for their employees. So that's how pro-abortion Obama is.
Yep.
And that's when you have an ideologue and you have a political party that is so committed to its ideology that it would rather put a company out of business that is employing people, okay, in this economy. They'd rather put them out of business because they won't kowtow to their political ideology. And we're talking about people who go for the jugular. They don't care who they hurt. No. They're so sold out to abortion and to the abortion lobby that they will become the executioners for the Obama administration.
Well, it shows such a total lack of concern for religious beliefs. The Green family is a Christian family wanting to run their business according to biblical beliefs. Here's the thing that bothers me. It seems to be Christians that are picked on. Let's be very clear about this. In the list of companies, I'm not aware of any Muslim-run companies that are facing these problems. It is Christian because these Christians say, it's not just a choice of mine on Sunday. I run my life according to these Christian principles. I run my company according to those Christian principles. This is what I believe in. And now President Obama is saying, as you say, Tim, doesn't have a right. But let's remember, this contraceptive mandate goes to nonprofits also. This story deals with the for-profit companies, but nonprofit organizations are still facing this contraceptive mandate. Now, what the adjustment that was made on and has been made and was reaffirmed on Friday by the federal government is that, okay, you're a nonprofit and you can say, I want a religious exemption, but the exemption is this. Your health provider, your insurance company that you work with must still provide those contraceptives. So if you have whatever company you have as a nonprofit, that company, that insurance company must still provide. The employees of that nonprofit go to the insurance company and say, I want my free pills. And that insurance company must provide that.
Yeah, we're talking about abortifacients. That's what we're talking about, and contraceptions. That's the contraception. But the abortifacients, they're making them pay. They're wanting everybody to pay for that. The companies that hire people to pay for that for their employees, and that's where Hobby Lobby's taking their stand. And, they've said, no, we're not going to do it. And if it means putting us out of business, then I guess that's how it'll have to be. But but make no mistake about it, folks. The people going after Hobby Lobby is the United States Department of Justice. Am I right, Fred?
Yep. Health and Human Services.
Health and Human Services would.
Okay. The Health and Human Services. I thought I saw here Department of Justice.
This is Kathleen
The U.S.
Sebelius.
Department of Justice has argued that allowing for-profit corporations to exempt themselves from requirements, I'm reading from the Associated Press story, that violate their religious beliefs would be in effect allowing the business to impose its religious beliefs on employees. What a screwy way of looking at that. But anyway.
Yeah, but if you're a Christian business, they're arguing that Hobby Lobby is imposing its religious beliefs on employees.
Eric Holder, Justice Department.
They're probably arguing on the basis of current law, which is why they went to the Department of Justice to get an opinion. But you're talking about a Christian business being run according to Christian principles, and you want to go to work for that company, then why shouldn't you abide by its policies? So it's not imposing religious beliefs on employees. Just don't look. If you don't like the policies, it'd be like me going to a company that says you must wear a shirt and tie and a suit, coat and tie, and I say you're imposing your beliefs on me. I feel like I should have casual Friday attire every day of the week, so you can't impose your beliefs. When they would say, look, these are our policies. You want to work for us. This is the way you dress.
I'll give you another example. This would be like going to Hobby Lobby for a job. You get a job, and then you say, "Listen, you're not letting me work on Sundays, and you are not letting me work
because they're closed on Sundays."
Yeah, so you're imposing your religious beliefs on me,
right? So
because
I don't
you're
get
not
paid
letting me
for
work
Sunday.
Yeah, because you're not letting me work on Sundays. That's enforcing your religious beliefs on me. I mean, this is kind of backwards stuff that we're getting here. But again, folks, this all stems from a secular, humanist, leftist, socialist view of the world that President Obama subscribes to, and so he wants to. He and his administration want to force Hobby Lobby and other companies to pay for abortifacients for their employees, or he'll put them out of business. This is where we are in this country. Again, I'll say it again. Elections have consequences, and this is, Fred, you want to comment on?
You know, it was interesting in the wake of the Supreme Court decisions last week on gay marriage. President Obama praised the decisions, but then he said, we have to remember the religious beliefs of various groups out there, and we want to make sure they can still worship the way they want. You know what I took from that? Christians, you can have your beliefs, but keep it inside the church walls.
That's what he meant by worship, the way they want.
That's worship the way they want. He was very clever in his response.
That's different from freedom of religion as the First Amendment.
Yeah, you can believe what you want, but don't take it outside the doors of the church. When it interferes with me and my agenda, you keep it inside the walls of your church.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, you're listening to the radio program, these issues on the American Family Radio Network. We're talking about some good news, actually, and that is the Hobby Lobby has been given a reprieve from the federal court in Denver. The 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. The United States has I don't know how many different courts of appeals.
I think they have at least 12. The 11th, I think, is over on the East Coast. So I'd have to check, but I think there's at least 12.
But as court cases rise through the country, folks, they go to different levels. I'm not trying to be too elementary with people don't understand this. And so these appellate courts, these federal appellate courts, are 12 of them, I think Ed said,
I'm going to check,
have jurisdiction over various states and various regions of the country. And so once a decision's made there, if it goes any higher, it goes to the Supreme Court. If it goes beyond those 12 federal court appellate courts.
Okay, there are 11, and then there's the D.C.
Okay, the D.C. So 11 in D.C. So Colorado, the Colorado court has jurisdiction over Oklahoma, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it has Oklahoma, Kansas, Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming. So any federal district court case decision can be appealed to the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals.
Okay.
If they decide to take it, then they hear it, they rule on what the lower case, and then it can be appealed to the U.S. Supreme Court, which, of course, does not have to hear those cases.
But in that case, it's good news for Hobby Lobby if the Supreme Court says we're not going to hear this case because the decision by the 10th Circuit Court will stand.
Well, the 10th Circuit, now tell me if I'm wrong here, Fred, but now the 10th Circuit hasn't ruled on Hobby Lobby's argument yet. They have just issued an injunction against the fines and said that they can go ahead with their lawsuit.
Yeah.
They have a reasonable chance of winning.
Okay.
They bounced it back to the district judge, and then on Friday the district judge said, yes, I agree, and they set another hearing date for the 19th of this month.
But whatever happens there, I'm sure either the Obama administration or Hobby Lobby can then appeal that decision to the 10th Circuit.
That is correct.
But here, even so, Hobby Lobby's having to spend thousands and thousands of dollars for lawyers to go into court and defend the corporation. I know they have their corporate attorneys, but I'm sure in this kind of situation they hire expert attorneys for this kind of situation.
Yeah, because their corporate attorneys are going to be trained in corporate law. This is going to constitutional questions, so I'm sure they do have to hire at least an adjunct position, attorneys who are experts in this area.
Good for Hobby Lobby for standing up to the federal government here in the Obama administration. I admire them greatly for doing this, because it would have been easy just to say, hey, we don't make the laws, but we're going to have to obey, or we're going to go out of business.
Well, and it's another example of just